In order to help Luka Doncic replace the vacuum caused by Jalen Brunson's departure, the Dallas Mavericks signed Christian Wood. Wood hasn't gained the coaching staff of the Mavs' entire confidence, despite generally playing well. Concerns regarding the 6'10" big men's approaching free agency have been raised by his murky Mavs role, but it seems like Wood is happy to stay in Dallas. Stay tuned while we tell you all about it. First things first, Christian Wood has dropped a massive hint on future of playing alongside Luka Doncic. Christian Wood, a big man with the Dallas Mavericks, is now eligible for a contract extension, although it is unclear if he will ultimately continue to play alongside Luka Doncic for many years to come. Nevertheless, according to Tim McMahon of ESPN, Wood gave Mavs supporters a positive view for his chances to stay with the organization beyond the 2022-23 NBA season. Christian Wood told ESPN when asked about the possibility of an extension, saying he was happy to be there, but when asked if it needs to be for 4 years, Wood said with a laugh that he can't answer that. Moving on, how did the Mavericks come across Woods to begin with? In June, Wood joined the Mavs after the Houston Rockets dealt him to Dallas in exchange for Boban Marjanovic, Sterling Brown, Trey Burke, Marquise Chris, and Wendell Moore Jr. His $41 million 3-year contract with the Detroit Pistons from 2022 is still in effect, putting him in a position to become a free agent by the conclusion of the current campaign. In his first season with the Mavs, Wood has had a hit-and-miss campaign, but on Christmas Day, he proved to everyone just how important he can be for Dallas by putting on a show in Dallas's 124-115 home victory over LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, let's talk about how Christian Wood dominated the first Christmas Day game. In the Dallas Mavericks victory over the Los Angeles Lakers on Christmas Day, Luka Doncic led the team in scoring, but Christian Wood added 30 points in what was likely his greatest game of the year. With 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists, while shooting 12 of 17 from the floor in his first ever Christmas Day game, Wood not only had his offensive breakthrough, but also continued his recent defensive upswing with 4 steals and 2 blocks. During his 38 minutes of play, Wood had a plus 16. Woods' performance couldn't have come at a better time for him, as a 4-year, $77 million contract extension became available to him on Christmas Eve. With Wood starting next to Doncic, the Mavs are 3-1. If he maintains this level of play, the Mavs should extend his contract rather than take the chance of losing him in free agency. Wood talked about his first Christmas Day game experience and how it had been a blessing. The 27-year-old pro basketball player talked about how, as a kid, he used to sit home and watch Kobe and LeBron on TV. The fact that he was playing against one of them on Christmas Day specifically was an honor. Not to mention, despite all the success, history might be repeating itself. The Mavs made a mistake by delaying their offer to extend Brunson's contract until after the trade deadline. It was already too late, and Brunson's departure for New York was inescapable. Before deciding whether to grant Wood a contract extension or not, the Mavs may want to consider the trade market, although we'd contend that there would be more advantageous trade prospects as the summer and beyond approached. Whether Wood is a long-term member of this Dallas roster or not, he would be more beneficial to the organization on a lengthier contract than he would be on an expiring one with upcoming unrestricted free agency. This is true both on the court as a vital player and off the court as a potential trading asset. Many people thought that Jalen Brunson's departure from the Dallas Mavericks to the New York Knicks in free agency this offseason was inevitable because of his familial ties to the Big Apple. The NBA is about to initiate a tampering investigation involving the Knicks, so there is probably some truth to that. However, the Mavs themselves may have been the ones to force Brunson out of the door before free agency even started. Up next, Brunson revealed why he really left the Mavericks. Brunson became a JJ. The real reason Redick left the team he had initially planned to stay for the rest of his career was revealed in Redick's The Old Man and the Three podcast. He said that when business came knocking on the door, it was time to look and see what was out there. Before the start of the previous season, as well as again in January, Brunson reportedly wanted to agree to a 4-year, $56 million deal extension with the Mavs, the same one Dorian Finney-Smith did in February. However, the fact that the Mavericks didn't make the extended offer until after the trade deadline suggested that Brunson might have been utilized as trade bait. Although Brunson handled it professionally for the rest of the season, it was pretty much the beginning of the end at that moment. Given the difficult 2021 postseason he had against the Los Angeles Clippers, it's simple to imagine Brunson signing a Mavs extension offer before last season. Although Brunson had already established himself as a full-time starter and had assisted the Mavericks Mavericks in getting through their worst stretch of the season in December, it is difficult to assume Brunson would have actually agreed to that $56 million extension in January. By that time, he had already earned far more than $56 million for himself. The pressure of playing in New York is no joke, Brunson realizes as he settles into his new home, particularly if you're a $100 million man who no longer teams up with Luka Doncic. Moving on, let's take a look at what Mark Stein had to say about the situation. However, despite Christian Wood's improved play recently in his eagerly awaited promotion to the starting lineup, particularly during the Mavs' rousing Christmas Day victory over the Los Angeles Lakers, according to American sports reporter Mark Stein, the Mavs may still decide against giving their star offseason acquisition a contract extension. He thinks Christian Wood's timing has been excellent. His best run as a Dallas Maverick occurred concurrently with a string of injuries that forced his unplanned promotion to the starting lineup on Christmas Eve, making him eligible for a 4-year, $77 million contract extension. Wood has averaged 20.5 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 2.3 blocks in a jump up to 33.3 minutes per game during those 6 games, 5 of which have been as a starter for the Mavericks, who are 4-2 since revealing that Maxi Kleber will be out indefinitely with a hamstring rupture. Even if the opposition hasn't been the strongest and an extension seems unlikely based on Dallas's consistent signals prior to this outburst, Wood has displayed some hopeful signs on defense. Given that the Mavericks allowed 106.2 points per 100 possessions, while Wood and Kleber were on the floor together through December 12th, Dallas's defensive-minded coaching staff was previously hesitant to play Wood without Kleber as his front court partner. Without Kleber by his side during the same time period, Woods' defense allowed 120.7 points per 100 possessions. Without Kleber standing next to him since December 14th, Woods' defensive rating has increased to 110.5 points per every 100 possessions. Lastly, what decision will the Mavericks make? The aforementioned extension reflects an increase in income for Wood, an undrafted forward who signed a 3-year, $41 million contract with the Houston Rockets before the 2020-21 season. Nevertheless, given that Wood is only 27 years old, he might fight for a longer deal if he enters the free agent market, which seems plausible given the Mavs' refusal to extend his contract. However, the Mavs' options for enhancing their squad beyond Luka Doncic seem limited. The Mavs are already $45 million over the salary ceiling as things stand. They could have made the best decision by bringing Christian Wood back. Unfortunately, the future will only reveal how things pan out for Wood and the Mavs. Up next, Christian Wood is playing his best basketball, and the Mavs are reaping benefits. Christian Wood has improved the Dallas Mavericks both offensively and defensively since entering the starting lineup. For the Mavs, playing him with Luka Doncic has created new opportunities. Before being paired with Luka Doncic in the starting lineup for the Dallas Mavericks, Christian Wood was already having a strong season, but the elevation has elevated things significantly. Wood is averaging 16.3 points, 7.8 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 2.5 blocks, and 1.3 steals while shooting 50% from the field in the 4 games he has started with Doncic. His most recent performance, in which he contributed 30 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocks in the Mavs' victory over the Los Angeles Lakers on Christmas Day, was his finest game of the season and maybe his best of his career. Moving on, coach Jason Kidd thinks Wood is getting comfortable playing the game. Wood has always been a threat offensively, but in recent games, his defense has improved. According to Jason Kidd, this is largely because Wood has had enough time to settle in. Kidd said he talked about that with Reggie Bullock last year, and that anytime a trade happens, it's not just the analytics. Human athletes have to perform and make the adjustments. He went on to explain that as much as they want trades to happen and for them to be successful overnight, it just takes time. Lastly, the most important reason for Wood's playing so well, the fact that Wood is starting, which is the position he has desired since the first day of training camp, adds another human element to the game. A person's performance will undoubtedly improve if he receives a promotion, particularly if he is in the final year of his present contract and seeking a substantial salary. It's no accident that the Mavs have put together a winning streak of several games thanks to Wood's better defense for the first time since the first week of December. Prior to playing the New York Knicks on Tuesday, Dallas had won 3 straight games. Wood will land the next big contract, whether it comes from the Mavs or another team, if he continues in this vein. That's a wrap for this video. Let us know in the comments below what you think about the Christian Wood situation. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.